Hello. We are here in the WJR 760 studios for the 10th anniversary of the Internet Advisor Show with the folks who've been with it from the very beginning, Foster Braun and Gary Baker. Gary, can you imagine it has come to this? What?
When we started 10 years ago, could you even believe that we would be on such a good station like WJR?
Well, it's amazing. It started out because I was having problems, which has been the genesis of most of the things in my life.
Those have continued. They just changed. Yeah, it's not the same problem.
And
it's just
now I'm moving
problems.
on to the Mac platform, so I got a whole new set of problems as well. But it really started out because I was having problems with my internet connection, and Gary at that time was
Not their ISP.
No. So I called my ISP, which was Online Technologies, and there was Mr. Baker to help me, and I thought, I got to get this guy on my weekend program, and we did. We put him on the what was then the Great Weekend Show in 1998.
That's amazing. Well, some of us had been around the Internet for a few years. In fact, I met Gary in Ann Arbor with, what was it, the Internet Council?
We had the Internet Council going in 94, 95, right? So that was early on.
Yeah. And at that point, we still had to tell people what the Internet was.
I think we said they would ask the worldwide what?
Yeah.
Right.
It was interesting, and looking at the background for our 10th anniversary program, I looked on a site and I found the Google page from 1998, and how they put down their number of subscribers, said 25 million users and growing. Think what it is nowadays. It's probably close to 1 billion. But I mean, just think of that. Back then, 25 million users was a big deal. Now that might be one day worth of hits on Google.
Well, and then, when we got involved, Merit managed the backbone of the Internet. There was one backbone. That's why they call it now, it truly is a web. But back then, you could count the number of people that really understood the Internet. Well, you need to take off your shoes, but there were not a lot of people. A lot of them were right here in Ann Arbor, so we had a great head start.
Now you have to take off both shoes. Take off both shoes, and then you got people who really understand the Internet. The rest of us are still confused.
Well, the show is really developed into two parts. One is you bring in hotshots who are talking about the latest and greatest Internet thing, and the other part is really helping people with their computer problems. And I'm wondering if you have noticed trends in the first part. I mean, I know there's one. There are people like Lauren who were born just about the time the Internet was, and it's like a telephone. She takes it for granted. Yes. What are some other kinds of trends you've noticed? Gary, you first.
Well, my daughter, Lauren Baker, was on that very first year. She was 5 years old. She's now 15 and part of our show. She's our teen tech tipster. But I can remember back when Foster called and he said, I have trouble getting on. We were talking about modem initialization strings, right? Remember? Those
wonderful sounds that used to be made. Those kind of things. Yeah. We heard them often enough.
Well, and, from there, now we're talking about, can you imagine the kind of sophisticated problems that people are having? There's still problems. People are still having them, but they're much different.
I think it's even more than that. I mean, can you imagine a world without the Internet? That now is where we've come in these 10 years. Before, people were having a hard time imagining a world with the Internet. Now it's, can you imagine a world without it? Without being able, and things like, for instance, you ask changes, Google is a verb. Not just a place on the net, Google that, I mean, think of that. Think of all the words that have crept into our vocabulary as a result of the Internet. And one other little thing was having gotten a new phone, the iPhone, I'm getting text messages now from all my grandchildren. I'd never got them before. And now I got to learn a whole new language. I got to learn the shortcuts, of all those things that help you say things in very short bursts now. So I'm learning a whole new language as well.
Well, and the same thing, we talked about my daughter last night. She text messaged me, right? And I text her back. She texts me. I finally said, Lauren, pick up the phone. We're going to talk about this. But you're right. I mean, she's so
be the other end of the house. That's what you know. Come upstairs.
I got a text message, and actually a long one, from my sister when I visited her in New York. And it was great because it was step-by-step directions, which you don't want to get over the phone. I thought, that is a great reason to use text messaging. So there are ways it's improved our lives, and you're right. When I'm without my internet connection for even a minute, I sometimes feel like I'm bereft.
I'm connected now, right? And it's not just text and not audio. It's now video, as you know, and actually you've known that it's been video for quite some time, right?
Way ahead of the curve. I was just going to say, we were looking at the 5th anniversary, our 5th anniversary,
right,
which is now on YouTube and also on the Travel Michigan .tv site. And that, I think, is probably one of the areas where we're going to see some of the biggest changes, is all of the video now that's coming in. It'll be an interesting next 10 years because I think the volume of stuff on the internet is going to require some changes. Like we're talking about metering use and things like that. Our phones are doing things nowadays that our computers didn't do 10 years ago.
But Foster, I think you and I are in trouble. How many times have we heard that we have faces for radio? Yeah, we're going to be in trouble with this video.
The next time we do this, the next anniversary, brown paper bags. That's how we'll handle it.
Well, the show is about ready to start, and we want to congratulate both of you and Ed Rundell and Tom Duroff and your daughter Lauren and all the guests who've been all these years. Happy 10th anniversary.
You've been on our show too, so you're part of that.
I'm congratulating ourselves
parade.
too. Right. All right. So there it is. Stay tuned for the Internet Advisor on WJR 760.
Get her hired.
Okay. All right. Okay, Lauren.